like,
really does like
uh,
it. Yeah. Oh, okay. So, touch it all. Yeah. Yes, she has some interesting stories or something.
Yeah, I know. Unbelievable stories.
Wendy? Okay. Carpet. Would you check on your phone to see if it's on?
I'll check. Yep, we're good.
Good evening. Welcome to the November 23rd, 2021 Township Committee meeting. I hereby announce that pursuant to Section 5 of the Open Public Meetings Act, that adequate notice of this meeting has been provided in the notice which was sent to the Asbury Park Press, the Two River Times, and posted on the bulletin board in the Township Hall, and filed in the Township Clerk's office on January 6th, 2021. Mayor Bontempo?
Here.
Ms. Weber?
Here.
Mr. Critelli?
Here.
Mr. Lucarelli?
Here.
Mr. Santana?
Here.
Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you, Wendy. Good evening, everybody. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, and please remain standing for a moment of silence. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for a moment of silence to honor our troops both home and abroad who work tirelessly to protect us each and every day. Thank you. Good evening to the Holmdel Township Committee, meeting November 23rd, 2021, 7:30. Before we kick in tonight's meeting, we're going to start with any public comment. So we allow public comment on agenda items on tonight's agenda only. Anybody have any public comment on tonight's agenda items only? Seeing none, I'll close public portion. First item is consent agenda, resolutions 2021-298 through 2021-306. I have a motion.
Move.
Second.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Critelli?
Yes.
Mr. Lucarelli?
Yes.
Mr. Santana?
Yes.
Ms. Weber?
Yes, with a note.
Mayor Bontempo?
Yes.
Resolutions 2021-298 to 2021-306 have been successfully passed. Thank you.
Thank you, Wendy. Next is hearing on ordinance, Wendy.
Hearing on ordinance 2021-35, which is an ordinance amending Article 5 entitling zoning Chapter 30, Development Regulations, Sections 30-135A, entitled AG-MF2, Affordable Housing Multifamily Zone 2.
Any public hearing on this ordinance, 2021-35? Seeing none, I'll close public portion. Do I have a motion?
Move.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Critelli?
Yes.
Mr. Lucarelli?
Yes.
Mr. Santana?
Yes.
Ms. Weber?
Yes.
Mayor Bontempo?
Yes.
Ordinance 2021-35 has been successfully passed and will be published in the Asbury Park Press according to law. The next hearing is on ordinance 2021-37, which is an ordinance amending section 2-26.4 of the Code of the Township of Holmdel to authorize the hiring of entry-level law enforcement officers without an examination requirement.
Any comment from the public on 2021-37? None being seen, I'll close public comment. Do I have a motion?
Move.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Critelli?
Yes.
Mr. Lucarelli?
Yes.
Mr. Santana?
Yes.
Ms. Weber?
Yes.
Mayor Bontempo?
Yes.
Ordinance 2021-37 has been successfully adopted and will be published in the Asbury Park Press according to law. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll go right to department updates. Administrator? Wow.
That's okay. No, I don't need to talk. I have no report, and our CFO was unable to make it tonight, but I am happy to answer any questions on his behalf, or if you have any questions for me.
Thank you. Next, engineer, Ben, any updates?
No report today, Mayor, but happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Counselor, any updates?
No update. Happy to answer any questions, and otherwise wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Uh-oh.
Still got time, Sharon.
We'll get any updates from boards and committees. At my far left, Committeeman Critelli, any updates?
No report, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Committeeman Lucarelli.
No report, Mayor, but I did want to give a shout out to our high school senior girls who won the Central Jersey Group 2 state championships the other day. So soccer, girls soccer. So I just wanted to give a shout out to them and wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Committeeman Santana.
No updates, but I'd like to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. Thank you.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor.
Yes, I have a report from the Recreation Committee, met recently. The Board of Ed reported that the referendum is done, and they were able to complete some additional projects and are very pleased to have that all wrapped up. On December 3rd, there will be holiday show tunes at the barn. The football teams are all finished and everyone made the playoffs. 2 teams won championships, and our cheer teams, D12 and D14, are off to Florida Nationals. We have a variety of Eagle Scout and Girl Scout projects taking place at Township Park. New boardwalk at Bayonet Farm, new handball wall refurbished at Phillips Park, kiosk at the Harding House at Bayonet Farm, and a cleanup planned for the gardens that are used by the cooking school, by the senior center there. The other big news is that the Alako Park basketball courts have been installed and are ready and open for people to shoot hoops over this holiday weekend. They look beautiful. We have several events coming up. Thursday, December 2nd at 6 p.m., Town Hall will hold our annual Christmas tree and menorah lighting with music, singing, and a special visitor from the North Pole. The Axelrod Dance Company is giving a sneak peek of the Nutcracker for senior citizens on Friday, December 3rd at 2 o'clock at Bellworks Atrium. Our reservations are required by calling the Recreation Office. And just a reminder that letters to Santa can be dropped off to Town Hall by December 15th. That's it.
Thank you for the update. I just have a couple quick notes. I'd like to thank all the residents who participated in the Thanksgiving turkey drive, which just ended Monday. We're able to collect more than 15 donated turkeys, which helps some of our neighbors who are food insecure this holiday season. Turkeys and other food items which we collected are being donated to fulfill the Food Bank of Monmouth and Ocean Counties. We held our Veterans Day ceremony on November 13th over at Phillips Park. We recognized all our service members and remembered to never take their sacrifices for granted. Community groups gathered to lay wreaths, and Holmdel Police Honor Guard changed the flag before the Girl Scouts led us in God Bless America. And the girls did an outstanding job. If anybody was able to see the video, which I think we posted on our webpage right after the ceremony. We also launched a Veterans Initiative, which you may have seen or heard about after I announced it on Veterans Day. We have a newly created central hub for veteran services, benefits, discount events on holmdeltownship.com/veterans. Coming soon are going to be regular veterans roundtables and more. And if you're a local veteran interested in receiving information or helping plan further events, we encourage you to please contact our administration office at extension 1205, or you can do info@holmdeltownship.com or mayor@holmdeltownship.com. Also, I was participated in the with Committeeman Lucarelli in the Vietnam Veterans Ceremony, which took place on Veterans Day, right here in Holmdel. made contact with some of the leadership over there who are going to be involved with some of the initiatives we're doing with our veterans here in town. So it was a worthwhile. As the deputy mayor said, we're doing our annual menorah Christmas tree lighting Thursday, December 2nd, right here at 6 o'clock at Town Hall. And letters to Santa. Please get your letters to Santa dropped in the mailbox in front of Town Hall by December 15th. I'd like to echo what Commander Lucarelli said, congratulating the Holmdel High School girls soccer team for winning the state championships this past weekend. Exciting game and incredible season for the entire team. On another note, there was just a conference down in Atlantic City, sometimes called League of Municipalities, where elected officials and employees from various governments throughout the state converge. There's a lot of training sessions that take place down there. They also do some different types of initiatives, and one of the things that we entered was the COVID vaccination program, which we ran last year for our seniors and some of our people who were very challenged in being able to get the vaccine, and we were awarded second place. So it was a nice recognition at the conference, and for all the people in Town Hall, especially some of the first responders that really made that successful for us. I want to thank everybody who participated, and like everybody else said, I wish everyone a healthy and happy Thanksgiving. That's it for the reports. I can now open up for any public comment. I ask you to come to the microphone, state your name and address, and you'll be given up to 3 minutes, which will be monitored by the clerk, and please address it to me and only to me. Yes?
Ralph Blumenthal, 41 Stony Brook Road. Got a postcard from you this past week, or Bill, with regard to the revised assessment, which is part of the process that happens now in the county every year. No surprise, it went up because the real estate market's been much better than it had been in the past. Question which I would have addressed to Bill, I'll address it to you since you asked for. What did the overall tax ratables in the township go up? Because that's what will determine the eventual tax rates.
So I spoke to you. Want to cover it? I can go ahead.
Is that all of your
That's it.
questions?
Okay, go ahead.
That's
It's about 11%. The total assessment went up about 11%. It has been a very strong real estate market in Holmdel this year. So
I mean, it's a little weaker right now because we got past Labor Day and the like, but still, I mean, that doesn't determine what the rate's going to be.
Correct.
It's always a function of all the budgets and
Correct.
everything, but one shouldn't expect if when assessment went up 11% that your tax bill's going to go up 11%.
No.
More likely it's plus or minus a little bit.
Correct.
depending.
Correct.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Have a happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else from the public? Go ahead. Come on up.
Genius Martin, 34 Galloping Hill Circle.
Is the microphone picking her up? Excuse me, one just
Am I
second.
too short to
Yeah,
hold
yeah.
it?
Just
You can hold it.
you can hold it too if you. That's
Oh, is
perfect.
that
Yeah.
okay?
Yep. Yep.
Okay, good. Okay, is that better? Better?
I'm picking up, right? You getting it?
I can see it.
Okay.
Is it going? Okay, thank you. So I requested for this to be added to the agenda, but I noticed that it wasn't, so I'm just gonna take my time to read the statement into the record. I'm here seeking a resolution that the Holmdel Township Committee, or governing body, will engage in a joint conversation discussion with Middletown's governing body and the County of Monmouth and the United Methodist Communities, which I'll refer to as UMC, who is the parent company that formed Enclave at Holmdel Inc., the current record owner of a property commonly known as Potter's Farm, in an effort to preserve Potter's Farm for open space. The purpose of this dialogue will be to facilitate transparent, open, and voluntary discussions aimed at potentially negotiating a buyout or a land swap or a combination of the two methods or whatever otherwise would work to broker a solution that would allow UMC to obtain an alternative site for the current site plan they're proposing for Potter's Farm. UMC has submitted a site plan for Potter's Farm to the zoning board seeking approval for UMC to be allowed to develop Potter's Farm in a matter requiring the approval of a non-conforming use of the land and various other waivers. The UMC purchased Potter's Farm for the Potter family for for approximately $4 million in January of 2020, and it appears there were not any contingencies for zoning board approval for UMC's anticipated land use variance application. People might know that UMC is seeking to construct a 105-unit memory care facility for the property commonly known as Potter's Farm, which sits at the gateway to both Holmdel and Middletown. The objective of placing this agenda tonight would have been to facilitate an intelligent discussion or some kind of commitment on your part to engage in an intelligent discussion aimed at investigating creative yet feasible alternatives to the non-conforming use being sought for UMC for Potter's Farm. If this were successful, which I believe it would be and many others agree with me, including the mayor of Middletown, Holmdel, Middletown, Monmouth County, and the state would likely be able to successfully preserve Potter's Farm with the cooperation perhaps of UMC. The land could be preserved and used for an agrarian educational program, partnering with local colleges and universities such as Brookdale Community College, Rutgers University, and other local and county educational systems to develop passive STEM-oriented real-life farming programs at the site, thereby preserving the beauty and character of Holmdel for generations to come. For example, perhaps Holmdel, with the support of Middletown and the county, would voluntarily approach UMC for a discussion that would allow them to consider selling or swapping out land for another appropriate location. An alternative location that would be more appropriate and better suited for the 105-unit memory care facility that they are currently asking for approval for. Another location other than Potter's Farm could be designated that is closer to a medical facility and does not require UMC tapping into the force main for public sewer.
Could you wrap up your statement? Yeah,
Okay, I'm sorry. If UMC were willing to engage in such discussions, that would allow the governing bodies to engage in this discussion and seek alternatives. I'm just going to try to wrap up. Perhaps this could even be beneficial for UMC, because maybe they could, in their alternative site, they would be able to expand out into the future and maybe add more beds, etc. Just as an example, there's a parcel of land on 34 that's near a nursing home and convalescent center that might be more suitable for such a land swap. I'm seeking this joint resolution to allow for conversations between the governing bodies and UMC for the purposes outlined above. The purpose is to engage in creative brainstorming and an open discussion and transparency to facilitate a better solution for Potter's Farm. In sum, I'm asking that the members formally and publicly endorse the initiation of just a discussion to meet the ends discussed above. I ask that this letter be included in the minutes, but I've already stated on the record, so I think that's sufficient.
Okay.
I thank you for your time, and I wish everyone a very happy Thanksgiving. Thank you.
Thank you.
Be well.
Anybody else in the public? Good, sir.
My name is Joseph Tetro. I live on 280 Middle Road. The area of my house over here gets flooded quite often. I don't know if you are aware of the aerial shot that was taken on October 26th with the heavy rain. We had 4.5 inches of rain, and my whole house was completely surrounded by water. And Middle Road obviously was covered over. Now, I've been before the Environmental Committee to try to have something, some kind of action taken care of. And the problem with I got blockage below my property, which is Hazlitt's property, and the water just is not, there's no stream there anymore for it to go through the years. I mean, my family's owned the property since the mid-70s, and when we built the house, we cleaned the stream 500 feet upstream and 500 feet downstream to get a C of O to move in. And, you know, since the 80s, they stopped us from doing that kind of work. But now at this time, I'm a little bit too old to be doing this stuff anymore, but I need some kind of help to try to clean the stream on Hazlitt's side. You know, there's so much silt coming down. I've had the mosquito commission out there. She was just here again this week, and I've been negotiating with them for the last 10 years trying to get something done there. The township, when T&M was in, they came up with a plan to clean the stream, and they never really successfully cleaned what they were supposed to do at the time, mosquito commission. did it at that time. Now the mosquito commissioners cut down on equipment which they borrow from the bridge department, road department. So I was just wondering if there's something we could do to try to alleviate this problem. The bridge gets backed up. It's been cleaned twice since they built that bridge over 10 years ago. So much silk is coming down from upstream. So I just wonder if there's something we could do to, because I'm not gonna be able to last there too much longer with the way the things are flooding out with these rainstorms that are coming down.
You want me to go?
I'm happy.
We're seeing more of flooding situations. I can't say exactly similar to yours, but more flooding situations in town. One of the sessions actually that I just mentioned in the League of Municipalities, the conference I was at with the administrator, we actually sat through a program on stormwater management and what some towns are doing. So we discussed with some engineers that were down there that were in part of the presentations, and we're looking at options that we could do. But when I look at it, I'm looking at it from a town holistically, not just specific locations, to see what we can do or what we need to do, because it's not unique to Holmdel. It's not unique to just Monmouth County. I'm hearing it from my peers all over the state that similar situations are occurring, and I think more people are taking are going to start doing what we're looking to do, which is take more proactive measures to bring experts in to help us determine what's the best options for us to help resolve these issues. Administrator?
Just to add to that, at the global level, we are looking at what we can do to look at the town as a whole. Specifically in that area, I think many people are familiar, and I believe I might have emailed perhaps your friend back and forth. There is a study being done by Rutgers University on the Mahoris Brook. They keep promising it to us. I've been told I expect the report any day now, which should help provide some options on what we can do. But even more granular than that, as a condition of approval of a development, the developer has agreed to desnag the Mahoris Brook once that project starts. We've proactively reached out to them to ask if they can, if we don't, or to not wait until they have all of their permits and they start their construction. And as recently as this afternoon, there were emails going back and forth between the attorney, the engineer, so that's why I was speaking with the attorney prior, to get that developer to immediately start that desnagging process, and they have agreed to do that. So the emails were with the engineer on what specifically that will look like, to get some sort of immediate relief. In addition, that's just one immediate step, and that's in addition to what the Mahoris Brook study will say and what we will look at holistically for the whole town. The Township Committee has stressed that this is one of their top priorities, and we are trying to be as creative as we possibly can to address the stormwater issues that are going on throughout this town.
What project is that, may I ask, that you're saying the builder agreed to desnag the brook?
The one on Palmer Avenue.
The townhouses that were approved there? Mm-hmm.
So
that's one of our concerns, is that next project going on, that much more water we're getting coming down. But the mosquito commission has said you're going to reach out to the county again to clean under the bridge, but the problem is downstream. It's where the problem is, not there. The bridge in a way acts as a dam for me to hold water back, but then when it comes over and floods my whole yard out and everything, then that's something else. But and then Tom Benning's property across the street, there's so much silt coming down. It's just a major problem. There was talk about possibly doing a detention area up by TD Bank in that area. I know that's another big project though, holding back water. But but thank you. I just wanted to get it out there again.
If you follow our meetings going forward, you'll see there'll be more information we'll be sharing proactively with the public, and it's a process, right? We're going to go through the process, and we have an ultimate goal of trying to resolve as many or all the issues that we can that are here, and ones that could potentially be popping up in the near future. So it's getting attention, and just pay attention.
Will we be reaching out to Hassel and stuff down that end?
we're gonna let the professionals dictate to us how we handle it.
All right,
All right,
thank you.
Thank you.
Happy
Thank you.
Thanksgiving to all.
Oh, thank you. Anybody else in the public? Any public comment?
Hello, Michael Kaiser. I had a question. Ms. Simardin,
Address, just state your address.
34 Galloping Hill Circle. Thanks. She had this resolution that she just read into the record. Why wasn't it added to the agenda tonight?
So ask all your questions and then we'll.
And will you be addressing that in the next meeting?
Those are your questions?
Yeah.
Okay. You gotta be seated. We'll answer them now. You can be seated.
Oh, thank you.
Yep.
Through you, Mayor, I believe this comment and the one prior that was referenced involve Potter's Farm, which is subject to a zoning board application. As we've discussed at our past meetings, because that matter is currently pending before the zoning board, the township committee cannot engage in comments that affect the merits of that application. This is not the committee trying to pass judgment for or against the application. It's merely trying to recognize that it's obligated to let that legal process go forward at the zoning board. Obviously, we are always entertaining public comments, and everyone has a First Amendment right to speak. However, in this case, the body with jurisdiction over the matter is the zoning board, not the township committee. And to the extent that the application is currently being heard by the zoning board, the township committee is not at liberty to consider formal action, especially of the type that you're requesting. I would note for the record that the committee did receive the draft resolution that was referenced, which basically spoke to having conversations with the applicant in the context of condemnation or the property being used for other purposes. Obviously, the intent of that resolution falls within addressing the merits of the application, which is why it cannot be considered by the township committee. It would be legally improper for the committee to be considering that at this point in time due to the status of the zoning board. So the committee certainly is cognizant of the comments that are being made, but is not in a position to act on them from a legal standpoint.
Thank you, Counselor. Anybody else from the public? Is there in the back? Wait, yeah, there.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Eric Silvergold, 9 Powderhorn Court. Just want to make a few comments regarding 117 Red Hill Road, which is the property that was formerly known, and I'll emphasize formerly known, as Potter's Farm. In June of 2019, the United Methodist Communities contracted to purchase that property from the Potter's family. In January of 2020, the sale of the property closed for about $4 million, and the property is now called the Enclave at Holmdel. So I don't recall any member of the Holmdel Township Committee at that time that the property was being marketed make any kind of an effort, either through open space programs or farmland preservations, to preserve that property. Now, nearly 2 years later, after the property was sold, I'm hearing arguments, resolutions for very complex, multi-jurisdictional solutions, including a farm and a school right next to where I live. I was never consulted by any of the people making these resolutions and proposals, and I would recommend to the committee, pending the resolution of the zoning variance, that if the variance is either approved or denied, that you respectfully speak to the people who actually live adjacent to the Potter's Farm property, or the property formerly known as Potter's Farm. It is a little bit disturbing to hear the words eminent domain and condemnation used in this room. It's rather frightening to hear, as a matter of fact. And I guess I would just ask as a hypothetical question, because Mr. Collins will not allow me to make this comment with respect to Potter's Farm. I'll ask each of you, Mr. Bontempo, Ms. Weber, Mr. Santana, Mr. Lucarelli, Mr. Quitelli, do you support Holmdel Township's eminent domain powers and ability to condemn private property to use the property for what you perceive to be a better use? That's my only question.
Thank you. You done? You finished?
I'm finished. Do
Okay, you can be seated.
Are you willing to answer the question?
You can be seated.
So the answer is no?
This isn't a deposition, sir. You are entitled to make your public comment. The committee can choose to respond if it chooses to. And in the context of not being able to speak to the application, while I understand you raised it in the hypothetical, I could certainly understand the committee not wanting to speak to it under these circumstances. So thank you for your comment.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Anybody else in the public? Yes.
Good evening. Ron Emma, 32 Ladwood Drive. Question and a comment pertaining to the last comments. Can you give us an update on the damaged fire truck? Is it done? When, if not, when will it be done? And what's the status of the insurance money? Number one. And number two is, as far as the Potter's Field open space question, I'd like to remind everybody, back in 2017, there was two former mayors, in Perveduto and Hines, who came out on the record that said, that pushed for affordable housing and that at that location. In fact, if you open, you see the development had 150 houses, 25 to 35 of them would have been affordable housing. So my comment is, maybe back then in 2017 was the time where all the money and effort was put in. Maybe the time should have been spent back then to try to preserve it. Now it seems like the horse has left the barn and it's too late. But there was a lot of considerable effort and money that was put in 2017 by prior committees that maybe they should have focused on preserving it then. Thank you.
Answer the fire truck question.
Happy to, through you, Mayor. We have received the insurance money to repair the fire truck. That was received beginning of November, and the estimate for the repair was 4 weeks. I will say that everything's taking a little bit more than the original estimate these days, but I do expect to have it back and in service sooner rather than later. We're just shy of that 4-week mark now.
Anybody else from the public? Seeing none, I will close public comment. Nope. Oh, one comment. Close public comment. The motion to adjourn.
Move.
Move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Thank you for coming out.